welcome to Microfiche Microphone. I'm Micah, and on this channel we look at microfiche from the past, or old newspaper articles in the public domain. We look at them with our modern eyes, our modern perspective, and see what we can learn from them. In this microfiche time capsule, we're looking at the Ladies' Home Journal from December 1884. And I wanted to read this one. I know I'm going back in time again after I had already started 1901, but I wanted to read this one as more of like a Christmas-themed one. So I am reading Christmas Goods, How and Where to Find Them. I thought that was interesting, and I think that's not something most of us think about, is, today you go online and you order what you want for your kids, or if you don't want to go online, then you go to the store. You know that they're going to be there. They've advertised that they're going to have certain things, and you know that you can buy the presents that you want for your kids at those certain stores. So I wondered how they did it in the 19th century, in 1884. So that's why I thought this might be fun to look at and be reminded that things were not always the way they are today. Yeah? Do home mothers ever grow too old or too indifferent to enjoy Christmas shopping? If so, then half the beautiful months of ice and snow, the season of midwinter festivities, is lost, for nothing is more gratifying than the giving and receiving of good gifts. Many of our correspondents understand and appreciate the satisfaction realized from being generous, and for their benefit we offer a few notable suggestions which cannot fail to be useful to out-of-town buyers. The mail-order system, as regulated by our leading stores, has attained such a degree of perfection that now everything desirable for dress or for household purposes can be purchased by proxy, often with greater satisfaction than if the buyer was present and made a personal selection of the wished-for article. Hence our readers understand the importance of knowing reliable houses to which they can apply at Christmas time, and at all seasons, for whatever may be required for presents, or for home use. About the most acceptable presents for all times are the 1,001 charming creations in fancy work, which are formed at home, of cheap or costly material, hand-embroidered, appliqued, or braided, and finished in countless ways. In country towns or even small cities, it is often difficult to obtain such the needful materials, silks, fringes, and other articles, and it may prove of service for our friends to know of Partridge and Richardson's, Philadelphia, PA, manufacturers of ornaments, fringes, and other trimmings for fancy work, upholstering purposes, curtains, covers, and also for dresses and fashionable wraps. You have only to send sample of material or the silks used in the embroideries, and give some idea of your desires, and any kind of trimming can be furnished at once, or made to order by this house. Partridge and Richardson will devote considerable space to the display of fancy articles and novelties, especially intended for the Christmas and New Year trade. It feels like an ad, doesn't it? Like, it feels like a product placement. I don't think that's what it is, but it sure feels like that. Partridge and Richardson. Although it's interesting to me that you would have to describe what you wanted and send them a sample of your material so that they could maybe color match it. That's not something that is done today. Not unless you're going to a very fancy shop. Oh man, that's very involved. You say, hey, I'd like to order some embroidery thread in green, but can you match this green? Well, you can, but... And then where did they get the scraps of fabric? I guess they made their own clothes a lot. I guess they would have some leftovers from that. I don't know. It just seems like if you bought a dress or a set of curtains from a shop and you wanted to trim them, then where would you get the excess material to send off? You wouldn't have any, unless they came with excess materials back then. I don't know. Does anybody know this? Because I find this very fascinating. That's definitely more involved. I thought it was also interesting that they described buying something by proxy, which means that your correspondence, you're giving them permission to get the money out of your account. Is that what they're doing? Because I'm not sure how they paid for their things back then. But maybe they did. Maybe the shopkeepers could take the letter of the order to the bank and say, here, look, this person ordered this stuff. Can I please get the money for it? And then he would send them their goods. I'm not sure how that worked. It's interesting. So if anybody knows more about that, please leave it in the comments below. I'm kind of fascinated. What did they do before electronic, sending of the money? The request for something useful prompts us to suggest the good housekeeper's delight, beautiful table linen, the enticing cloths that come in such odd, fanciful designs, with napkins to match and curious towels that are handsome to look at and exceedingly serviceable. Sharpless and Sons, Philadelphia, PA, have the most desirable linens of these goods, in inexpensive and in the higher class grades, also bed furnishings, blankets, down coverlets, and white spreads. For presents among home people and relatives, dress patterns are particularly desirable, and this house will send free samples of all manner of materials, such as tricots, sponged and something cloths, I can't read that one word, are celebrated American goods. I don't know what this says. Singas? Sages? I don't know. Silks? It's not silks. I don't. It's GES at the end. Might not be a G though. I'm not sure what it says. Cashmeres, fancy mixtures, and embroidered and broche novelties. Silks, satins, velvets, and velveteens. The guinet, black silk, and specialty of this house comes in various grades, costing from $1 to $2.50 a yard. A dress pattern of 12 or 15 yards of this luxurious black silk will make one of the most desirable presents a husband's can bestow upon his wife, or a father upon a daughter. The winter price list just issued by Sharpless and Sons, Philadelphia, PA, will prove an inevitable aid to those who do not know just exactly what they want to give friends and wish to find out the cost of various desirable articles. All right. Once again, it feels like a product placement. And once again, the company that they mentioned is in Philadelphia, which makes me think that the person who wrote the article is in Philadelphia. Maybe they are, maybe they're not, I don't know. But it seems a little suspicious to me. So if I live in Nebraska, let's say, then would it be practical for me to order something from Philadelphia? I mean, how long would it take to get there? You know what I mean? I'm just saying. It would also probably be too expensive. So, because the cost of living is so much lower in Nebraska, you don't have to make as much. So, then you also don't have as much disposable income. It's just an example, but I think that's a little short-sighted right now. All right. I like that they're giving ideas to people who might not have an idea, but at the same time, this isn't the Ladies' Home Journal. I feel like women in general usually get a good idea of what to buy people. And now they're mentioning, the father should buy it for his daughter. Do you really think the father's going to be reading the Ladies' Home Journal? I'm just saying. Probably not. All right. Good reading is never out of place, and when one can get a considerable quantity of real valuable material for midwinter amusement for a mere nominal sum, it is well to do so. The Christmas number of the Strawbridge and Clothier's Quarterly Magazine, price 15 cents, is literally filled with entertaining and instructive articles, prepared by the very best writers on each special topic. This magazine differs in character from the usual quarterly journal, the articles being devoted to household economy, home art, and to dress fabrics, with the various completed garments and necessary toilet accessories. Indeed, in all matters pertaining to ladies' apparel, Strawbridge and Clothier's Magazine is considered reliable authority, and from the fashion illustrations alone, most correct ideas of the leading styles of the season can be obtained. Product placement, this is weird. This is not what I was expecting. John's wife, who writes most readable articles for this magazine, is not our John's wife, and our impression is that Strawbridge and Clothier's John's wife is a wolf in sheep's clothing, a veritable man. Was that supposed to, get me to get this, or, make me hate it? Okay, that was a really weird random plug. E. Bradford Clark & Co., Philadelphia, PA, has have just issued a most attractive little pamphlet illustrating the new methods of preparing all manner of edibles and keeping them in such condition as to be ready for immediate use. Fruits, vegetables, soup, meats, fish. Okay, soups, fish, meat, and rare fowls are by new processes put up in the most attractive shapes, the contents of the boxes, jars, and bottles being so prepared that they can be kept for an indefinite length of time in any climate. These nutritious and choice foods are very convenient when we are subject to accidental guests and impromptu late suppers. Christmas confections and imported delicacies for seasonable service are included in the various assortments of good cheer at E. Bradford Clark & Co., well-known establishment. Indefinite, huh? Yeah, there's no way to preserve food to have it hold indefinitely. Certain foods go bad quicker than others. Some will hold a very, very long time, but others will not hold very long. And you just have to eat it within its window. Or throw it away. Those are your options. But saying that it's indefinite is ridiculous. I'm very disappointed in this article. I thought this would be much more like general advice of like where to go and not being so specific. Be like, oh, write to this company and order this magazine. This is going to give people FOMO, the fear of missing out. This idea of, oh, I don't have a subscription to, what was it? Strawbridge and Clothier's magazine. I better get on that right away. Or you could just stick with the ones that you like the best. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like this. I do not like this. I get the intention behind it was very good to say like, hey, you don't know what to get somebody? Here's a few ideas. But I don't like the way they went about it. Anyway, but I hope you found that entertaining. I wonder if some of these are still around. I'm going to just Google it real quick. Because, like, all these things that were plugged in 1884, this product placement stuff. Okay, Partridge and Richardson, Philadelphia. Let's take a quick look. Start with that one. So this is in some sort of library. It looks like Maryland Center for History and Culture. Partridge and Richardson, Philadelphia, PA, undated. It's a file box, so it looks like there's more than one thing in it. And physical description, trade card, Beehive Stores, dress trimmings. I think there is a store called Beehive around. So did it turn into Beehive, or did it is that just a description of what's inside it? Famous in its day, Partridge Restauranting. No, it's okay. Beehive Dry Goods Store, aka Partridge and Richardson's. Okay. So Partridge and Richardson eventually became Beehive Dry Goods Store. Okay, is that one still around? J.H. Cook's Beehive Department Store. I don't know if that's the same one though. Yeah, looks like it's still around. Beehive Dry Goods Store, we mean business. Huh. Okay, it's still around. Wow. Tip my hat to you. I just changed its name. Alright, next one. Sharpless and Sons. 1880 Sharpless and Sons Dry Goods. Oh, apparently they had a bunch of really funny, ads. Oh, let's see if I can get one of these pictures. It's a card. Oh, it's sold for $60. Okay, let's see if I can just save the picture, because it's the thing itself is no longer available, but I'm going to try and save the picture. Let's see. Then I can show it to you. This is really funny, okay? But apparently they were definitely a company that sold stuff. Postage stamps. Victorian trade card. Interesting. These are really random. I just didn't see this coming. Put it that way. interesting. Importers, jobbers, and retailers. Interesting that these are selling for like $50. So if you have any of their old cards, like, you can really sell it for a decent amount. I doubt that they sold for that much back in the day. And people really liked these, it looks like. Apparently they used some pictures of Japanese children. Not sure why that was relevant, but hey. Well, that's all I'm seeing right now are like a bunch of the old like pictures that they used to have. Oh, this is so interesting. Like, they seem so random. This Victorian advertising cards. I'm not sure if they were like thinking of making money this way, but it seems very strange to me. But so I don't think they're around anymore, but apparently their advertisements have become collectibles. So that's very interesting. Not what I was expecting. All right, so that's Sharpless and Sons. I didn't think they'd still be around. Okay, Strawbridge and Clothier's Quarterly Magazine. I've never heard of it, but let's find out if it's still a thing. So Strawbridge and Clothier. Hagley Digital Archives was the last family-owned major department store chain in the greater Philadelphia area. The store was founded by Justus C. Strawbridge and Isaac H. Clothier on July 1st, 1868, and they opened their first store. In 1996, Strawbridge and Clothier was sold to the May Company, who in turn sold it to Federated Department Stores a decade later, thus closing or converting the remaining branches. So they're not around anymore. There you go. Literature and Household, Volume 8, Number 2, November 1889. So if 1889 they were in Volume 8, then that would have started in 1881. It hadn't even been around very long. It's telling me I can't order this, but it's $20 for a paperback for a single one of these. So yeah. So apparently it was a thing for a very short time, but they did eventually switch to Store Chat, but I don't think that was published like very widely. Okay, E. Bradford Clark & Co. is the last one. Alright, I'm not seeing it at all. The only one that had the same name was located in Littleton, Colorado. There's no way that's the same one. I guess it could be, but it's unlikely, right? And all this is grocers, wine, and cigar merchants. Oh no, this isn't in Philadelphia. Oh, the article itself is located in Littleton. Okay, so sorry, this is an eBay listing of like an invoice. Looks like 6 cans of deluxe sardines, $2. 3 cans of lobster, $2. 6 cans with rarebit. It's not rabbit. Rarebit, $2.25. 1 bucket mackerel, $2.50. Note: unable to procure codfish balls at the present time. And the total is $8.75. But it's kind of not that interesting. I'm not sure why somebody's trying to sell this, or why anybody would want to buy it, but they want $17.50 for it. Import charges, an estimated cost of $10.71. Oh, okay. Great. So I can order a piece of paper that has a company name on it. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Why would anybody buy this? Can anybody explain this to me? Why is this a product that people are selling? I don't get it. Anyway, if you understand better than me, please let me know, because I just don't get it. Do I have any, like, thoughts on, like, gift ideas? I do like the idea of making things for people. I personally really love it when people make me things. So if you are crafty at all, I actually enjoy getting something that you've made more than something that you bought. But that's just me. Not everybody feels that way. So I think that I got an insight into the way things used to work. I feel like there was a lot of correspondence back in the day, that you had to spend a lot of time sitting down writing, letters, like actual letters, in order to get things done. It definitely wasn't the spontaneous way that we can do things today. Definitely had to plan ahead, really think about it, put some thought and planning into what you were doing, and it still might not turn out the way you were hoping. So that would be super frustrating. I'm really glad that we're able to really see what we're getting today, as long as you're not trying to order from a sketchy place. Most places are pretty good about showing exactly what you're getting and how much it costs. And I think that's the point here, is I very, very, very much appreciate a little bit more our modern way of doing things. I really love that I can just go onto Amazon and order like everything that I wanted to get for my kids for Christmas. And maybe even something for myself at the same time. You know? And I can order them whenever I need them. Anyways, I just thought you might enjoy that Microfiche time capsule today. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you in the next video.